Okay, so today's webinar is 3 secrets to escape your 9 to 5. So basically, we are going to show you or tell you um, what we did, what we've done, what we're still doing, our processes, and then we're going to answer some questions. And of course, we're going to give you the 3 secrets.
This is bothering me. Let's just put this up and behind the thing.
Okay.
So we don't have to worry so much about where we're looking.
Yeah.
Okay. Trying to get it set up where it's a little bit better for everyone and everyone can see.
Yeah.
So maybe we should talk a little bit about who we are and what we do before we jump into everything that we're trying to talk about.
All right, so they know me, so you go first.
So my name's Chelsea. We met like almost a little over 8 years ago, and we've been building our legacy for a while. So we have 4 children. We both are from Tennessee.
Yep.
So definitely far away from home, being in Las Vegas right now. And I think both of us always knew that we didn't want to be like the normal worker. We never really felt.
We're not good employees.
I'm a good employee. Don't say that. Don't say that. You can be a good employee and a good entrepreneur.
I'm a good employee for myself, not a good employee for other people.
I mean, so our biggest thing is we just knew that this wasn't going to be what we wanted to do forever. We knew that it was a means to an end, and we knew that things were going to, obviously, you need a path. And I feel like we really spent the last 3 years trying to figure out what our path was going to look like.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Over the past, I would probably say about 2.5 years, we've started really diving deep on what's important to us, what we really want to do with our lives, how involved we want to be with society, and like the everyday traditional norms that we, experience as humans in this world. So, everybody has a different experience. Everybody has a different life. So I feel like what we are and what we're trying to build is a self-sustainable legacy that can be passed down to generations and almost essentially build a new age commune kind of thing. We really want to teach families how to be self-sustainable within their own families. We're really big about
100%.
We're really big about trying to teach as much as we can to basically break away from needing like everything, needing to buy meat, needing to have everything. Grocery stores, and then the wealth side of it comes from just the right investments at the right times and capitalizing and using the paths that you've decided make sense for you, because not everybody has the same vehicle. So like just because your idea and your goal is to be wealthy and to have a legacy to pass on doesn't mean that you don't make money and that you have to live in like the dark ages or anything like that.
Exactly.
You also have just different paths you can take. So we have chosen real estate. We have chosen real estate as one of the main forms for our vehicle, but that doesn't mean that has to be your vehicle.
We started in life insurance.
Yeah, so that was like our original path was life insurance. We wanted to make sure that we were covered for our children. We started learning about how life insurance can, it could be a wealth builder as well. You can draw off of it and different things. So I actually got my life insurance license, and that was like the first like entrepreneurial kind of
So that was one
thing I've done
away from finance and
But even as, I don't know about you, I'm sure, I do know about you, but there are things even in our past that kind of prompted the both of us to think like maybe we're not going to want to live working and clocking in and out every single day. So I remember being 18 years old. This is crazy. I'm going to tell you guys a story. I was 18 years old, literally just had a baby, and I was trying to teach women, like older women, about sex and about like their bodies. And I sold Pure Romance. I'm not sure if anybody knows about Pure Romance, but honestly, that was probably like the biggest like reality check of what owning a business and like what doing like that kind of work, like sales, like in person, looks like.
Yeah.
And so it was, I mean, it was really scary, but it made me feel empowered. I remember feeling like, if I put in enough energy and effort, like, look at how much money I could make. Because, I mean,
Yeah.
there were plenty of people that were making great money. It just depends on your passion. So obviously, I realized that that was not my passion. It's not something that I wanted to do, but it doesn't mean that it couldn't be somebody's.
For sure.
There are still people who make tons of money who do that kind of work or who do other things, but similarly. So just because real estate might not be your vehicle doesn't mean that might not still be able to help you guys, because we have gone through a lot and
Yeah.
seen a lot, and I feel like sales relates back to almost every
Yeah.
type of business or job that you have.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah.
and more than just like the investment side. The Wealthy Legacy is really about like just teaching people how to find the information that they need. Um, you could have, I mean, any kind of business, like from like plumbing to electrical to selling ice cream. And I mean, there are people who don't know the next steps that they need to take. There are people who get stuck, like people who have the business plan down, but they just are missing just key pieces. And we've helped people with that. We have one client right now. He is a multi-talented person. He has multiple businesses, and he's needing some help getting them all to mesh together. And that's one of the things that we're working on with him.
Yeah, so a lot of times we actually come in to people's lives and to businesses' lives where they're already established, like they've already kind of got the process of, and they're making some money, but their business itself isn't actually successful because most of the money that they are making is living expenses.
Yeah.
They're just pulling most of what they have out of the business and using it for living expenses. And that's very, very common in a lot of businesses. And I mean, that's how it was with my Pure Romance business when I first started. Like everything I made went straight to gas and bills to be able to do it again the next week or whatever. So, we understand. And I feel like that is the beauty of how we are set up to be able to help and to mentor people, is that we can come in at any stage. If you have a plan and an idea and you're like, hey, I think this might could work.
Mhm.
Like, give me an idea, or give, bounce. Like we can come in at the beginning, or we can come in when you're already self-established, and we basically just set up a mind map for success and what that looks like for you in your business, and
Helping you
so
scale to the
yeah.
next level.
Because a lot of times that's all you
people
need.
get stuck.
You get stuck being able to just do what you can do, and without the numbers and without the path, there's no way to duplicate it, and there's no way to actually grow because there's nothing duplicatable. You don't know what the numbers are. You don't know the math. We actually talked about this with our client last week. The path is in the math. So if you're a business and you're not seeing success and you're not seeing growth, the reason why is because you're not tracking anything.
Yep.
You don't even know what you're doing. So this is actually another funny story. One of, I wouldn't really call him a mentor, but a guy that I've been following kind of start his own journey into building a community. It's in the real estate world, but he actually started his first business. I don't know if I told you this, but he started his own business as a cereal bar. So he had this idea in college that he wanted to just start a cereal bar. All of his friends, in college, you want something to eat after you've, hung out all night. So I think he rented like this little, spot, and he just bought a whole bunch of cereals. And he, to this day, will say, people ask him, what were your P&Ls on that business? Or, how much money did you make on that business? And he's like, I don't have a single clue. I didn't keep up with P&Ls. I was just having cereal with my friends. I was just making money, and we were just having fun, and bills were getting paid. I mean, that's what I know.
Something he already knew, something he was already comfortable with, so it worked.
Yeah.
That's why one of our biggest things is use what you know.
I mean, yeah.
If you already have a specific skill, you can make money off of that skill, even if you're not the one doing it.
Yeah.
Like, there are countless people trying to break into a new industry, break into new opportunities. And if you have a skill that someone else is interested in, why wouldn't you have something somewhere that is set up to help that person?
Yeah.
and also help you in return because you have this specific skill that not many people have, or a whole lot of people have. Who
Yeah.
knows? Like markets, like people always say the markets are saturated. Sometimes they get saturated, but most of the time, not everybody is working the same.
I will tell you that in the first 2 years of business, most people fail. Um, Most of the time, it happens in the first year.
Yeah.
So people say, "Oh, the market's saturated. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of people doing the exact same things that we're doing." Okay, that's fine,
Yeah.
but they won't be next year,
Exactly.
and you will be if you have that commitment and you have that motivation that keeps
Drive.
you going.
Yep.
And the biggest attribution that we have to figuring out like what drives us every day is just figuring out your why. Figure out down deep, like when you strip everything else away, when you're not thinking about anything else and you just think on the inside of you,
Why do I do what I do?
exactly, why do I get up? Why do I what purpose do I have in this world? And a lot of times that can be scary.
For
Like,
real.
like to sit there and to have to really dig deep
And think
and
about
think like what is the reason that I'm going to keep getting up every single day to struggle? Because owning a business is not all rainbows and butterflies and cash flowing in all the time. A lot of times in those first few years it's tough, it's rough. You've got, sometimes you'll have really really great times and you'll have dry times. So, you know finding out your why and really digging deep into what it means for you. In the beginning, my why was, oh, my why is my kids. I want to be able to provide them a great life. And okay, that's cool. If that's your why, then I get that. But it needs to be even deeper than that.
very specific.
It needs to be very like intentional, and the product of your why and why you do what you do should affect every aspect of your life, including your children if you have
For sure.
children. So it's
That should just be inclusive.
yeah, I coach people all the time and they're talking about, well, my why is my kids and my why is, I want to, but like you already get up and take care of your kids every day. You know what I mean? You're already doing that. What's going to make you work harder? And so I think for us, ours ended up coming out to just having the freedom. So like that was like our word. So freedom to be able to choose what we want, when we want, and to be able to give back. So I feel like those two kind of go hand in hand. We come from a very, different background, both of us.
Yeah.
And I feel like when we have discussed having wealth and having money, both of us want to give back in some kind of way.
For sure.
So every time we start talking about, when we hit our, passive monthly money that we need a month, like what are we going to do? What do we want? What do we want to provide? So obviously this is one thing. We want to help people understand that there is a path to get away from what you already think that's out there. That's all that's out there. And then there are other options basically. And so in the teaching idea of it, we just want to be able to teach people and to give back, and then, to have the freedom to be able to choose what our life looks like and what our children's lives look like. So freedom and the ability to give back. That's really what our why is and what pushes us every day.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. So I guess that's a little bit about us. We probably, a little bit just more about who we are, and you guys, if you follow along on our TikTok or on Facebook, we hope to provide you a little bit of insight into what it looks like to live in our life. Not many people's families have two entrepreneurs as parents with 4 kids, especially living in Las Vegas. It's like we pulled all the hats out of the trick. It's like neither one of us have 9-to-5s. We have 4 children. We have a 14-year-old, 8-year-old, 7-year-ld, 2-year-old, which she'll be 3 soon.
Yep.
And we live in one of the most expensive countries in the city.
Expensive cities in the country.
Expensive cities in the country. So, it's crazy. So, if you're joining now, if you just join our life now, you're going to see some crazy changes. And it's so funny. We said this last year.
Yeah.
We said this to like our family and our following last year, the little bit that we had. You're going to see us go from
really here to like
country,
here.
like country living, little bitty city, to where we are now. But even now, further, you're going to see us go from
from
like
this big city to
from
traveling around the
literally
United States.
learning that this isn't what we wanted. You
Yeah.
know, we moved from the South and we came out here to see what it was like, what it would be like to really stretch ourselves, to push ourselves to the point where it made it uncomfortable.
Very
and we had to grow. There was
Yes.
no other choice but to
We have
grow.
zero family on this side of the country. Like
Yeah.
past Arkansas, there's nothing.
No, yeah. So it's just stretching and
Yeah.
growing, and we want you guys to see us stretch and grow more, which will then, you know, it'll help you and motivate you guys that you can do
Hopefully.
this.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
Because
I mean, that's our goal. Our
like,
goal is to motivate.
we are
you.
regular people. Like
Literally.
Bro,
I just left an open
regular
house. I'm a
people.
real estate agent. So we have this business, we have the consulting business, but my business and my, you know, vehicle is real estate. And so I literally just left an open house.
Exactly.
Like an hour and a half ago. I was, you know, I door knocked yesterday. I was knocking on people's doors, talking to them about the house. So we don't want you to think that we're just out here to give advice
No.
and we're not doing the same things that we say that we're
not,
doing. And
like we are not trying to sell you anything. We're not directly looking to you know, get a whole bunch of clients. If that happens, then that's fine. But we just want to just have like an avenue to give back.
right.
If
If our life, if what we're doing on an everyday basis could help someone, could
want that.
actually
Yeah.
could benefit someone and affect them in a positive way, then by not sharing our life with you, we are directly going against one of our whys, one of
Exactly.
the things that we're wanting to do, which
Yeah.
is affect people and help people and teach that this
Yeah.
isn't the only way that you can live. The rat race and the 9 to 5 isn't the only way that you can live.
Every time we start, because like we said, we started in life insurance, but every time we've learned something new, every single you know, conference we go to, all these masterminds that we enter, like we always come out with the same thing, and it's like, oh my gosh, we should just share this with as many people as possible.
Yeah.
And like why didn't we know that? Why had no one ever told us this? Because it's not like we're new to all these industries. We've been in these industries forever. Just the people who are up here don't want to share with the people who are down here. And I think that is just mind-blowing to me.
Yeah. Or they do want to share it, but they just want to make sure they get paid and they're compensated, which I get that too.
Yeah.
Everyone's time, and this is something that we talk about with all of our clients. Yeah. Everybody's time is valuable. You have to figure out what you're worth.
Yeah.
And but for us, we're already living our life. We're already doing the things that we're going to be, you know, videoing and sharing and hopefully, you know, experiencing with you guys. So it's not like we couldn't just do it anyways. And so we do coach, we do help people. We have a few clients right now, but the biggest thing that we want you guys to get from this is that we want to help in whatever way we can. Sure. I've had people just since we started announcing the webinar just reach out to me and say, hey, you know, what are you doing? Like, what all do you provide? Like, what help can you actually give us? And so, like, we can literally help you with everything.
From the beginning of your business to the top of your business.
Yeah, so we can help you with, you know, business strategies, business plans, like actually writing the business plan.
And models so that you can get loans to get funding.
Right. So there's so many aspects to starting a business. It's not just the paperwork, and it's not just the
idea.
Right. And that's crazy because ideas in this society are worshipped. But the actual, like, result, I mean, it's like no one cares.
No
one
cares.
No.
No one wants to go through the process to make that idea come to fruition. Like you can't expect to a vision without action is a dream. If you are not actually planning to put all of your ideas into action, you are planning to do nothing.
You're just idolizing a dream at that point. It's not going to be productive. It's not going to help you. It's going to actually probably make you feel worse because you're just in your head dreaming about
and it's not happening.
The life that you could have or the business that you want, and you don't actually have like a path, a guideline of what you should do, where you should go, what to do first, how to do something second, and that's what we're wanting to do. That's what we do. That's, you know, the mind map, the success. We want to show you what to do to stay motivated, to stay, you know, driven, and, you know, eventually just by following along with our journey, you guys are going to learn so much about how wealth and health go hand in hand, and how mindset and habits, they go hand in hand. There's so many things that we do in our everyday lives that literally affect our brains. Like our brains are just filters. So if we're constantly just putting stuff in our brains, like by watching or listening, that you are already like agreeing with, or you already hear a lot of, those things are easy to process. Those things are like, oh yeah, that's a funny video, or oh yeah, that's a video about basketball and you love basketball. Okay, cool. But to put those things into your head that are going to make you think, that are going to push you outside of your boundaries, that are going to make you feel uncomfortable, those are the things that you're really needing to consume, because those are going to be the things that change that filter in your brain, that can actually start your body realizing that there's so much more out there. Like, you can attract so much into your world by just changing your mindset and just fixing the filter. Because most people's filters are fucked up. Like, I'm just going to be real. Like, literally, most people's filters that are in their head, that's allowing
our
them...
filter was fucked up. Like, like when we think about like where we are now, and then we look to the future, like, this is for everyone. When you think about where you are now and you look to the future, it's really hard to see. So think about where you were last year, or think about where you were 2 years ago, and then think about now. And now it's like,
well, there should be a difference.
There should be. If you're working. If you're
not, and that's another thing. If there's not a difference year to year, you haven't made any significant improvements in your life, or in your health, or yourself, your mindset. Then it means that it's time to get to work. It's time to start learning more. And the first step, and I guess we'll just jump into like the 3 secrets of, to break away from your 9 to 5 and to live your dream life now. The 3 secrets. The first one's going to be, it's going to be mindset. It's all in your mind. It's literally, and it's crazy to say that, because I feel like 3 years ago, if somebody would have said that to us, we'd have been like, no, whatever.
Shut up.
Whatever. Okay. But it really is. So, like, I mean, if you come from a very, very limiting lifestyle, and you've always been told no, or you've always been like strict on yourself, or anything like that, you have a very limiting mindset, and that mindset limits you in more ways than you even realize it does.
Oh yeah.
So like, you could have been told no your entire life about something silly that didn't even really matter, and just that no, that subconscious no, that filter that's been created, will make you never want to ask a similar question again, or never push yourself out again. So mindset is going to probably be the biggest effector of how quickly you can change your life, and how quickly that you can come out of your 9 to 5. The other 2 things are we can help you with, and we can help you with mindset as well. But mindset is the hardest, because
it's like, we can tell you how, like, different practices to try to change your mindset, but everything, it comes down to you. Like
and your willingness to just push and to keep going.
Like, if we give you the information that you need, you're like, I don't want to do this, your mindset's not going to change. And I mean, that's your issue. But if like you can actually listen to, I guess like the simple, I mean, it's simple. It really is like, it really is really simple, but it just comes down to putting in the work and practicing and working on yourself. That's what I'm saying. It's working on yourself. It's not.
And it comes down to, like you just said. I mean, you either want to do it or you don't. And I mean, I'll be honest. Like, the difference between people who succeed and winners. So let's just say success and winners on this side, and not success or losers on this side. The difference and what separates those people is the willingness to do stuff in the moments that you don't want to do. So just because, you have a plan and you have it all laid out for you, you could jump on a call with us, we could look at your business plan, we could get everything lined out, and we could put it all in the works. But your willingness to do the things that you don't want to do that's on that paper that is going to be what pushes you to be a winner.
Exactly.
And your unwillingness to do the things that are difficult or that pushes you outside of your boundaries, those are the things that are going to push you to the not winner side, to the loser side. And so,
and that's a choice that a lot of us make every single day.
Literally,
like,
I mean,
whether it's,
think about this.
Yeah.
Think about this. Growing up in school, what did you used to call people who were like really, really smart and who got really, really great grades? Or maybe not you didn't call them, because I think we've had this conversation, but other people. What did those kind of people, what names did you hear people call them?
Nerds, tryhards, geeks.
Right. So they had names, right? Yeah. You had people called them names. Okay, so on the opposite end of that, what were people called that didn't do so well, or like acted up in class and got bad grades, and what were those kind of people called?
Delinquents.
Class clowns. Troublemaker. But loser. But even still, those
I was
people.
One of those kids.
But even still, those people had names. They were special. They were talked about. So our entire lives, we have been basically programmed to not want to be picked on either side of the board. So, no one wants to be a loser. No one wants to be a loser. No one wants to be a winner. We don't want to be a nerd. We don't want to be, a class clown. So everyone's just so content just being right in the middle. Yep. Just staying in the middle with no special name, no special nothing, and being unknown. Yep. But it takes you doing the difficult things and stepping out of your comfort zones and stretching to get to the winner side by doing the things that you don't want to do. Yep. So that's just like a little story that that kind of goes along with mindset, and because it is one of the hardest parts. It is. I feel like I drug Michael through his mindset change around the same time that I was having mine.
Listen, she's not even lying. I came from negative, I guess just negative beginnings. Like, I've always known trauma, lots of tragic stuff, just like all through my childhood, all up through, on into adulthood. So I'd never seen, I guess, the good side of life. So whenever I started to experience the good side of life, it was like, this shit ain't real.
It's hard.
This is fake. This is going to be over in not long. So, I couldn't accept, my new environment because my old environment was still so much a part of me. And it was hard for me to get out of that.
Yeah.
But like she said,
I feel like
kept working.
I feel like it really took us moving. I feel like I had gotten my life insurance license in Tennessee, and I had already started kind of getting into real estate a little bit, but Michael was still just like, we have to work. We've got bills. Like, this is it. Like, 9 to 5.
He was a welder.
Michael was a welder. He's a welder by trade. And, I was in finance before I was in life insurance or real estate. And so in Tennessee, when we lived there, he was working a 9 to 5. I was working a 9 to 5. Like, that was just what it was. And so when I started saying, Michael, I don't want to do this anymore.
She's like, I want to be home with the kids. I want to stay home. I want to stay home and be able to go to events with the kids, because we missed all of them. Our kids weren't allowed to do certain extracurriculars because we
couldn't manage a schedule.
We couldn't get there.
Yeah, we have 4 kids, and around the time that we were imagining our life being different, I had just had our youngest. And so we were like, COVID, and also COVID happened, and we were like, oh yeah, we're not really wanting everybody else to have an impact on our lives and our careers, because Michael was laid off, and then my job had a whole bunch of threatenings of layoffs, and I was like, we need something different. So that was our biggest thing, is when I got that mindset shift, I was like, okay, if I can grind this hard since I was 15, if I can work every single day that I need to since I'm 15 for someone else to be successful, why the fuck can't I do that for myself? Excuse my language, but for real, why can't I do that for myself? Why can't I put in that energy, that same effort, get up every day, go to work every day, be worried about my clients in the freaking shower? I'm washing my hair, worrying about my clients. Why can't I do that for myself? So I feel like that was one of the first things that really changed my mindset. And then I was like, okay, Michael, go get your life insurance license.
And
let's do something. Let's educate. Let's try to. And so we went to a seminar. We went to a conference. We went to a seminar, and we got to learn a little bit more about that. And then we realized that life insurance and the IMO that we were with wasn't
Just
really
the way
the
that
best.
they wanted us to do it wasn't what we were comfortable with doing. So, we did it our own way. And then we got into real estate.
Yeah, and I mean, I basically was like, we're moving. I don't want to make any more decisions on our life being here in Tennessee. We need a big change. A lot of people say that you're like stuck in your hometown or you're whatever. And I feel that a lot. I feel like it took us getting out of that to really know what we want. I don't think we want to go back to our hometown, but I do think that we want to be able to give back to our hometown, to be able to impact it in a good way, but maybe not like live there. And even now we know that just because we're in a city doesn't mean that that city has to affect us in any kind of way. Yeah, so exactly. I feel like our self-limiting beliefs about where we live have really been broken just because we literally moved our entire family from Tennessee to Las Vegas. So I mean, yeah, we did a lot out of just doing it, just like don't.
Like the reason, so we haven't told this story on both of our pages, but the reason is crazy that we actually moved to Las Vegas. So it's on our YouTube, but we'll tell the story here too. So it was a yes day. You guys have probably seen the movie, but we actually saw a family do this on TikTok, I think, and it was like they just said yes to different things, and
yeah, it was before. So we decided, it was before the movie had came out.
So we decided to do that, and our daughter, our oldest, the oldest ringleader of the little Munchkins, she was like, she's bougie, and she thinks that. She knows that we would that if we tell them that there's no limit, there's no limit. So she did that.
She didn't know. So
she didn't know, but we told them.
In their defense, like Michael was on workers' comp because he had gotten hurt at work.
Yep.
And then I literally had just quit my job. I had gave her and had Elena. Like she was only 3 months old at this time. So like I had just been in my 2 weeks notice, and so he was on workers leave.
So I was on workers comp, and I got laid off while on workers comp.
Yeah, it all happened at the same time. And but I mean, you still got paid, obviously.
Right.
Whatever. Yeah. So we literally just woke up on like a Wednesday, and I was like, Michael, I think I want to do something. I want to be spontaneous.
Yeah.
And so we were like, let's do a yes day. Let's just let them pick whatever we're going to do. And Michael was like, you do realize that if we ask them where they want to go, your daughter is going to
instantly
she's going to be like,
do you know this is not going to turn out the way that you think that this is going to turn out?
And that was okay. I think we both assumed that it was going to end up in a trip, and we were okay with that because we wanted to spend some time. But anyways, we basically just packed our entire lives on a Wednesday and said that we were going to go to the beach because our oldest was like, let's go to the beach. And we were like, sure, but not to Florida because we've been there a million times. So let's go to California. And
we drove. It took 2 days.
We drove. Like,
with a newborn.
Yeah.
Well, she was
like 3 months old. 4 months old. Whoa.
Was it May? No, she was 3 months old. She was 3 months old.
That's crazy.
It's crazy to think about, yeah. So she was 3 months old, and she slept most of the trip, which was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what got us out here. And it was literally just like we got out here and we were like, there's everything around us. There's mountains, there's rivers, there's lakes, there's, everything there, everything. So we just thought this would be a good spot. And so, I mean, we've enjoyed our life the past, year and a half, which will be 2 years before we move. But we are definitely making another change when the kid's in school this year. Right now, we are trying to figure out if we want to push for a more nomadic lifestyle where we're able to travel either here in the United States or internationally. Still up for debate on what we're going to do with the kids and everything. So, but that's our goal. And that's where we're really pushing for now. So that's kind of, we like to make like little mini goals inside our big goals. And so this is just one of our little mini goals.
Yeah.
And so the mindset, and I guess we'll get back on topic, the mindset shift, and that all happened around that same time of Yes Day and us coming out here. I remember saying I was like, Michael, I feel like this year has been like my metamorphosis year. So like when butterflies or when caterpillars go into their cocoon and they turn into a butterfly, it's like Like you change, you literally completely change. You go in one thing, you come out another.
Yeah.
I actually created an LLC called Metamorphosis because I wanted something to feel significant. I was like, this is something that we need to document, and we need to, like, this is a big time in our lives. And I feel like I just kind of drug Michael along with me. Like, here, come on. You're not ready yet, but you're going to get ready. And so, I mean, when we first came out here, he was still working. We hadn't completely figured out what we were going to do to be able to both be entrepreneurs and both be home. And so he still welded for the first year that we were here, but it was in January that he completely left and quit his regular job, and we've been entrepreneurs since. We've been self-employed, owning our own businesses and doing our own things.
Almost a year. January 4th will be a year.
Yeah, January. So that's just the biggest thing with mindset. Mindset is going to be what gets you through the hard days. And if you don't have that strong mindset, and you don't have that already worked on, it's going to be hard.
For sure.
And then the second thing, probably equally as important, and that goes hand in hand with mindset, would be education. I would probably say that education would be the next, just because you can't even shift into a new mindset if you don't know what you're shifting away from or what you're shifting into. Yeah. And so learning as much as you can about things that you're passionate about and about how to build wealth and how to be successful independently of the system is kind of probably where we would say you need to spend a lot of time. So you need to know how to use the system, like the tax code system and that kind of thing if you're here in the United States. But you also need to know how to avoid certain things, how to avoid taxes altogether, how to, structure your entities in a way that you are protected, that
from
lawsuits, from money-hungry people that might not even have a leg to stand on, but they have a good lawyer. There's so many different reasons why a good entity, establishment and like a
process.
Well, yeah, it's like an organization. Like having everything organized in the right way, it's a big deal. And so the education that goes behind it is going, like when we talk to people about education, obviously it all goes back to what you're wanting to do, what your goals are, what your vehicle is going to be that's going to get you to your wealth. Yeah. And so we take that and then we figure out what all do you need to learn.
Exactly. And don't think that when we say education that this means you have to go back to school. No. Because, oh my gosh, YouTube. Yeah. Oh my gosh,
like
YouTube.
99% of what you probably need to know
is on the internet. Yeah. Like you can find so many videos, especially like if you're just getting started, why not go and look at the free stuff in order to get to the stuff that you have to pay for? Like, right. And if you have the money to go ahead and, spend on, different educational items, then go ahead and do that. Yeah. I'm telling you, it will never, unless you just don't use it, it will never be a bad investment to learn something new.
No. And I mean, learning, and the things that we really talk to people about whenever we're talking to them about education and what they can learn in the business, especially if you're already doing your business.
Exactly.
Like if we come into it and you already know everything.
Using what you know already.
Right. And then just furthering your education into those things that you probably didn't even think about, like how to win grants, how to write better business plans to be able to get funding, how to network with people for private money or hard money, or just there's so many different things out there. There's even like education classes and like licensure classes you can take through like Google now and through so many different things. So I feel like our biggest issue that we're struggling with right now in both of our like entrepreneurial jobs is just leads right now because we're in a downturn of the economic cycle. We are going into a recession. We're already in a recession, whatever you want to say. It is a natural thing what is happening. We are coming down off of the huge high peak that we were skyrocketed into with COVID. But now that we're on the downturn, like it's good to learn about things that are going to help you be more successful, like lead generating, like marketing, like sales tactics, like how to speak to someone, learn a script, role play. Like all of those things are things that are going to make you more successful, make you more money, and be things that you can use every single day in your business. So just because you might feel like an expert or you might feel like you already know as much as you need to know in your business, there's
way more.
always
There's
something that you
always
can
more.
learn.
That's why I have to. So we have to explain this to our clients. Like, yes, you are absolutely right. We don't know how to run your business the way that you want it run, but we know the different steps and the different tools to use to make your business successful.
More successful.
Whether we know how to, like mechanics, whether we know, I don't know how to work on a car. I can change the oil, I can change a tire, but I don't know how to run a mechanic business. I don't know how to, process, labor for the jobs, and I don't know where the best place to get cheap parts is. Like, I don't know, but I can still come into that same business and add this, see their process, add a couple things or take a couple things out and improve it.
Yeah.
And that is what we try to push to our clients. We don't know how to run your business, and you don't know what we are going to try to put into your business in order to improve it. So there's something that we're all learning. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to learn how to work on a car, but it's gonna help me to learn your process so that now I can help the next mechanic without having to go through all of the onboarding original stuff, like, of learning about that business.
Yeah, we don't physically write down business models as much as we are going to and have thought about doing, but we break down complete business models in our heads of different things that people could do or could have to be successful. So like we've talked about like 10 or 12 different like passive income business models that
inside other business.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like, just because we're not an expert in that specific field or genre doesn't mean that the same concepts and principles that we teach to all of our clients when it comes to lead generating, marketing, sales, how to overcome objections, all of those things apply to everything. There's not many things that it doesn't apply to. And just learning how to speak to people in a way, and speak to yourself in a way that conveys the right message and that invokes the right emotion that you're looking for in that moment. Because emotion is what sells people, and stories sell people. And so that's what we really try to teach all of our clients, because if you're in any kind of business where you are selling a service or a product, you need to learn some of those skills. And a lot of people don't learn those skills.
Yeah. And in this day and age, I mean, other skills that you need to learn is online marketing. Regardless of what business you're in, what industry, if you are not online and on the internet, and people cannot find you on the internet, you're hurting your business, and essentially you're setting yourself up for failure. Because, I mean, the internet is obviously the way
now. Yeah,
the world is going.
We've been almost fully changed into like an all internet kind of society for almost 2 years. It's been really pushing it. Like, how many people have? When was the last time you watched a TV show, like an actual TV show? Exactly.
Name a network television show that's not on Netflix or Amazon Prime or Disney.
Yeah, I mean, literally. So that's the thing is, like, we are in an internet age, and this is something that, I was actually contemplating on earlier when I was making a video earlier. A lot of people don't keep up with what's going on in the economic cycle or in just the technology age, and they keep recycling, knowledge and information, and it's not relevant anymore. It's not helpful anymore. It's not working anymore. And
I'll tell a story for her. I know she had an instance where someone was a leader of a certain group, and this person has been in the industry for a long time, but she isn't doing the best. So she's been in there for a long time, but all of her experience is from the past. She's not updating anything. She's not carrying any of the old stuff to try to, combine it with the new stuff. She's just kind of stuck regurgitating the old information that she's had, and she's spinning her wheels. So, I mean, that is the issue with a lot of businesses. They have processes that they never updated. Like,
yes, this worked in 1982. This is 2022 now. It's not going to work the same.
Even 92, even 02. It doesn't matter. If it's
2012.
I mean, yeah, if your practices and your principles and stuff haven't been updated in the last 10 years, then that's a problem.
Exactly.
So that's our thing is education needs to be something that you strive for every day. We talk to our clients about you need to be reading a book.
Learn something new every
like
single day.
Yeah. I mean, you should be learning something new every day, whether it's something about your specific niche or if it's your, marketing or lead generation or whatever, because in any business, you don't really have problems until you have enough leads, because everything comes down to leads. And really, like if you think about most businesses that you are selling a service or a product to, you need people to sell those products or those services to. So those are called leads. So you have to get really, really good at lead generation and online marketing before you're ever going to have any more problems. Because if you have other problems, the problems can be solved with what? Leads. So you got to get them. You got to be out there. You got to know how to connect with people, and you got to know how to make a difference. And so education is like number one, definitely. Well, number two, but mindset and education, I feel like they go hand in hand, because your mindset's going to be changed with the education, and they really go together. So those are secret number one, mindset. Secret number two, education. And then secret number three would be execution. So I didn't really know the best way to say it or to put it, because I was telling Michael, I was like, I don't want to say the same things everybody always says. We want to give people new information and new knowledge. And so I was like, what is something else that actually can be the difference between escaping your 9 to 5 and being stuck in it? And for me, it's called doing something. It's called getting up off your ass and actually making a difference and trying something. And that is execution. So if you're sitting back and you're like, oh my gosh, they're pumping me up and I love how they're talking and they're talking.
Want this.
I want this. I feel it. I've been having this. I said, if you go to our YouTube, we have a YouTube.
Yearning.
I said the word yearning a
26
lot.
times in one video.
Well, because that's the only real word I knew to describe it, because it's literally like this internal feeling of unrest, like something's not right. I want to change. If you have that feeling just from us having this conversation and us talking to you about it, then the secret is action. The secret is
something behind
is make a plan. Make a plan and then actually do something. Don't just talk about doing it. Don't lavish in all of your dreams.
Oh, I could do this. I can't wait to.
Right.
I could experience this if I did this. But unless you do that thing, unless you actually start, you'll never get to the end goal that you have in your head. And that's why we have vision boards and everything. We pull everything out of our head so that it's not just sitting up there. And then we actually make a plan
on how to get there. Time, whenever we talk about like goals, because all a goal is supposed to be a goal. It's supposed to be an outcome and then a path to get there. And the issue is a lot of people don't know how to make goals. A lot of people think like, oh, our 5-year goal is that we're gonna own our own home on a huge piece of land and have all kinds of horses and be self-sustainable. Okay. It's not a good goal because you have no clue how to get there. A goal should be specific. It should be like super specific. So you should know down to like where you want to go, when you want to do it, how it wants to be done. Specific. It has to be measurable. So you actually have to be able to measure what you're doing and not just like fly by the seat of your pants. And then you have to be able to attain it. So it's got to be something that you can attain. So we don't want to make them too extreme and too
I want $1
crazy.
million in 2 days.
Yeah. So they have to be attainable. So specific, measurable, attainable, and then realistic. This kind of goes back to
I want
attainable.
$1 million in 2 days.
Yeah. So they have to be attainable, have to be realistic, and then they need to be time sensitive. They need to be time based, time measured.
In 2 days, it's not long enough.
So it all kind of goes back into, a goal needs to have a plan.
For sure.
Because goals are worshipped, but plans are
Not talked about
not
at
talked
all.
about. So let's start. Let's in your head, if you've gotten any kind of plan or any kind of business idea, sit down and actually try to make a goal for that.
Think of the steps that it would take for you to get there. Like
reverse engineer it.
Exactly. That is what
like,
this is what we think. So we
like, what is it going to take to get us there? Like, we've talked about this. So our goal, one of our next goals, is to be out of this freaking city by like July at the latest. Is really where we want to be this next year. So what we're doing now is we're figuring out what it's going to take for us to get there.
Yep.
What are we going to have to do and shift and change in our lives that we can be that nomadic, that the kids aren't in school, that we're going to be able to homeschool them, that we're going to be able to travel. We got to be able to buy.
Go where we want.
We got to, I mean, if we're going to do it internationally, if we're going to buy an RV, plane tickets. So the idea is to make the goal and set the plan in motion. So the execution is actually one of the bigger parts. Like, I mean, we can sit here and make goals all day long, and that's what a lot of people do. A lot of people, you hear of New Year's resolutions. Guess what a New Year resolution is? It's just a goal. And guess how many people actually accomplish their New Year's resolutions? Very, very minimal. So instead of this year, and we're actually getting ready to go into New Year. So instead of this year, you making a weird New Year's resolution goal that you may never even keep, why don't you actually think about something for your life that you want to change or improve or upgrade, or a goal for this next year that you're actually going to stick to. And then if you need someone to help you stick to it, give us a call. That's what we're here for. We are here to be those motivators, the success coaches, whatever we can be to help support you guys. And, that's where, we kind of want to leave this, is we want to leave you with the knowledge of how to be successful, how to break away, how to not be stuck on that rat race anymore. And then hopefully through the journey of you staying, involved in us in our life and with the Wealthy Legacy, you'll understand more of those little bits and pieces. And we're going to create the bigger picture for you guys. But today was really supposed to be, the top 3 things that can help you right now start breaking yourself away from that.
Like if you think about these things, mindset, education, and execution, think about those 3 things. Think about how you can make those 3 things like part of your life, and then see where you go.
Yeah.
Because listen, if you can change the way you think, then you can change the way you learn. And if you can change both of those 2 things,
and your life can look different in a year.
100% different. 1 year, 12 months.
6 months even. Like, your life can look completely different in 6 months. That's what we're doing.
Every 6 months our life changes.
I mean, I feel like for the past almost year and a half, we've been really focused on trying to have the best life that we can have here and growing our businesses. But honestly, the next 6 months, we're looking to change our life completely. We're looking to change it where we don't have a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,200 square foot house and 2 cars and all this stuff. Like, we want to pare down. We want to be minimal. We want to be able to travel. We want to be able to be self-sustainable. So the goal isn't stuff. And obviously this is hard. Like, we've got 4 kids.
And everybody's goals are different. If your goal is stuff, let your goal be stuff. That's cool.
Yeah.
Our goal is not stuff.
Right. And so that's another thing that we've talked about. Like, even if we get to the point where we have the ability to have the stuff, we still probably don't want the stuff. We want to be able to give back. We want to be able to help other people. Like, I would much rather buy 10 people's Christmases, like have somebody's Christmases paid off layaway or birthdays or something, than to go buy a 4x4 or something. Like, I want to help people. I want to impact people. I want to give back in ways that, we've never even been able to fathom giving back, and that's really what excites us.
You won't see us driving Lamborghinis and Ferraris,
no.
Even if we can afford them.
Even if we could afford them, all of our money is going to be put into other wealth-generating assets that's going to continue the legacy. Yeah. And so, even though you might want to have a Lamborghini down the road, that's fine. That's cool. We'll teach you how to have a Lamborghini. You can have one. Just make sure you have something that's actually paying for said Lamborghini,
so that it's not coming directly out of your pocket.
Yeah, and
we can teach you how to do that.
It's not a liability; it's an asset. So, we'll leave you with that, I guess, a little bit. But the last thing that we were going to do on today's webinar was actually give away 2 business setups. So we were going to talk to people about whether they wanted. We were just going to do an LLC setup, so LLCs. But I actually was thinking maybe we do just whatever business makes sense for that specific person.
Yep.
You do have to be signed up. So we have a Google form that you just plug in your name and your email address, and we're going to take all those people and we're going to put them in a hat, and we're going to basically pull it out. We're going to do it on live probably in about a week. We're hoping to get maybe a couple more people registered after the webinar tonight. I think we had 11 people signed up for the webinar on our Facebook, and I think we have like a few more on the Google page and then on TikTok and stuff. So we just want to make sure everyone that wanted the opportunity to be able to be in the running for the free business setups, because it's not like we're just going to just set up your LLC. Like,
No.
that's not. We're going to talk to you. I want to have a business conversation with you about what your goals are, what your holdbacks are right now. Like, what are you struggling with in this moment that we can help you? And then what business industry makes the most sense for you? Because it might not be an LLC. It may be something different. So I guess we'll just end it there. And if anybody has any questions, you
Feel
can
free to
always
reach
reach out to us, via
Our
Facebook,
page, this
Instagram,
page,
TikTok. We're everywhere.
all over.
Yeah, and then on our personal pages, we both have personal pages as well, so we're just really trying to do our best to be present for you and to give back in any kind of way that we can. So, yeah, we're excited. Hopefully in about a week we'll be able to give away some business setups and hopefully take you along with that process too. And we'll get everybody's permission if they want to be involved, but it should be a good process.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for joining everywhere, Facebook and TikTok, YouTube, all over. Goodbye.
Bye.